it's Jessii Vee, and as you can tell by the title of today's video, we are going to be talking about the dark history of gingerbread houses. Now, last year I talked about the gingerbread man story specifically, but I never went into like the history of gingerbread houses and why you might be freaked out to make one ever again. Before I get started though, guys, don't forget we still have a small group of Christmas mystery boxes left. I know I bring it up in every single video, but I just want you guys to get them on time for Christmas. So if you would like one before they sell out, I have linked it down below. But with that being said, we're just gonna jump right into today's video. Can you guys hear that? It's my dog again. A gingerbread house is a small building that is made of cookie dough, cut and baked into appropriate components like walls and roofing. The usual material is crisp ginger biscuit. These houses, covered with a variety of candies and icing, are popular Christmas decorations. Now, it is believed that gingerbread was first baked back in the 11th century in Europe, when returning crusaders brought back the custom of spicy bread from the Middle East. So it was quite literally gingerbread. It wasn't cookie form yet. Ginger was not only tasty, it had properties that helped preserve the bread. Nuremberg, Germany was recognized as the gingerbread capital of the world, when in the 1600s they started to employ master bakers and skilled workers to create complicated works of art from gingerbread. The first documented instance of figure-shaped gingerbread biscuits is from the court of Elizabeth I of England. She had gingerbread figures made to look like her important guests. Imagine going to a party and when you walk through the door, the host is like,
"Look, I made this cookie to look just like you. See, that's your eyes, that's your nose, that's your mouth."
I'd be like, "Oh hey, I forgot something in the car. I'm just gonna leave forever, okay?" In many European countries, gingerbread bakers formed a baker's guild. Gingerbread baking developed into an acknowledged profession. Like, someone could ask you back then what you did as your full-time job, and you could be like, "I make little cookie people." In the 17th century, only professional gingerbread bakers were permitted to bake gingerbread, except at Christmas and Easter, when anyone was allowed to bake it. So people weren't even allowed to bake this unless it was a special occasion. In Europe, gingerbread was sold in special shops and outside churches on Sundays. The decorated gingerbreads were given as presents to adults and children, or even as a love token. Gingerbread was also really popular to give to guests at weddings. Apparently, it was also worn as a talisman in battle to protect someone against evil spirits. I'm just imagining someone going into battle wearing like a gingerbread man around their neck. I don't know why I get these thoughts in my head. The tradition of making decorated gingerbread houses started in Germany in the early 1800s. According to certain researchers, the first gingerbread houses were the result of the well-known Grimm's fairy tale, Hansel and Gretel, in which the two children abandoned in the forest found an edible house made of bread with sugar decorations. After this book was published, German bakers began baking ornamented fairy tale houses, and these became popular during Christmas. So people literally think gingerbread houses started being popular because of Hansel and Gretel. Oh my gosh, has my dog been chewing on this the whole time? Hey! Puppy life, am I right? Okay, let's talk about the largest gingerbread houses ever made. It's actually really fascinating. In 2013, a group in Texas broke the Guinness World Record with a 2,520 square foot edible house. The gingerbread house was over 35.8 million calories, and ingredients included 2,925 pounds of brown sugar, 1,800 pounds of butter, 7,200 eggs, and 7,200 pounds of general purpose flour. Are you kidding me? Imagine being the cooks who are given this recipe. My goodness. And the executive sous chef at the New York Marriott Hotel broke the record for the largest gingerbread village with 135 residential and 22 commercial buildings, and cable cars and a train also made of gingerbread. This is so cool to me. I mean, people are so creative for doing stuff like this, and you must have a lot of time. Okay, let's get into some really weird facts. According to the Swedish tradition, you can put the gingerbread in your palm and make a wish. You then have to break the gingerbread with your other hand, and apparently if the gingerbread cookie breaks into 3, the wish will come true. And I feel like I want to try this on the vlog channel, but we're gonna have to find some gluten-free gingerbread. Folk medicine practitioners created gingerbread men to help young women to marry the man of their dreams. Apparently, she would take this gingerbread man and bring it to the person she had a crush on, and if she could get him to eat it, it was believed that he would fall madly in love with her. Imagine if that actually worked. Witches supposedly made gingerbread figures, ate them, and thereby caused the death of their enemies. So Dutch magistrates went so far as to declare baking or eating the molded cookies illegal because of this. Superstition sprang up that humanoid sweets had demonic powers. Stop eating my backdrop! Okay, and lastly we have a really creepy story. It's said to be true, but like I said, we never really know for sure. But this story is called Under the House. There's a story about a family of 4 that moved into a new house back in 2007. Now the house itself wasn't new, it was guessed to have been built in the 1930s, but it had been completely renovated and looked good as new on the inside. You're making this very difficult, Tumnus. Why? The first day they moved in, they were exploring all the rooms and looking around the property when they found a small hatch door on the ground at the back of the house. When they swung it open, they saw damp, murky steps heading downwards. It looked like it went to a storage area under the house. So they grabbed a flashlight and went down to explore. They found tons of these old cardboard boxes filled with children's things like toys and clothes. They found old school books, but there was one particular box that had something very peculiar inside. They pulled out what looked to be an incredibly old gingerbread house. It looked like it must have been sitting down there for decades. The icing was as hard as a rock, the gingerbread was dirty and moldy, and it definitely looked like bugs had been feasting on it. But what was the most startling thing is that on the roof of the gingerbread house, a child had written, "Help me," in gumdrops. If I found that underneath my house, I would be so freaked out to live there, especially if it was like super old and like all this children's stuff was around it. No thank you. But yeah, that does seem pretty realistic, right? It doesn't seem too much like a creepypasta. Anyway, so guys, those are all the creepy things I'm going to be talking about that has to do with gingerbread today. If I missed any interesting facts, definitely comment them down below. And don't forget, if you would like a Christmas mystery box before they sell out, I have linked it down below. But I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!